Welcome back.
Go ahead.
To Cinema Vino.
No, we're done.
Oh.
It's good to have you guys with us. We got Sean Jordan.
It's okay to be here.
It's all right. Travis Budd.
Hey, I'm sorry I stole your clap.
Clap stealer.
I'll give you the clap.
Yeah.
You'll give back? All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish up our Indiana Jones trilogy with Indiana Jones and Last Crusade.
Chickpea on your
The
face.
last movie in the installment.
Yes. It's like, everybody out there is like, yes, there was a part 4 and a part 5, and say what you will about whatever opinions you may have about those. I feel like the first 3 movies in this series form a nice little self-contained trilogy. They do a good job of
a tight 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, they were of an era,
It completes the arc.
Yes. So, and they could have left these 3 movies as is, and it would have been just fine. So, we're gonna evaluate them as such. We are drinking because a good chunk of the first part of this movie takes place in Italy. We're going to enjoy an Italian red wine. This is Diego Conterno. This is a Barbera d'Alba. And so, for those of you out there at home, a Barbera d'Alba. The Barbera is your grape. It's going to be kind of, in this situation, a full-bodied, rich, dry, but very fruit-forward red wine.
They did like the Flintstones and the Jetsons. And
the Hanna-Barbera, exactly.
Yeah. 14.5.
Deputy Dog. He's got one job here, and it's stupid, but he's going to do it.
14.5% alcohol, guys.
He repeats the computer. So Barbera d'Alba. D'Alba is going to be.
You said Deputy Dog?
Deputy Dog. Yeah.
Jessica Alba is gorgeous.
Amen. So d'Alba is going to be the area where it comes from.
She actually? Did you see? She post-divorce posted some thirst traps on Instagram.
Ooh.
Jessica Alba.
Check that out at home, won't you? And so d'Alba is going to be in northwest Italy. It's going to be, I believe, in the Piedmont region of Italy. Very famous wine growing area. The wines from this area have to be, I believe, 85% Barbera. They can be 15% Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo is going to be one of those red grapes. It's going to be pretty tannic. And they're going to do that to introduce kind of a little more what they call grip and ageability into a wine. They put a little Nebbiolo in there to give it a little more longevity. So
you know what I like about Italian wines, though, is they tend to be more down-to-earth table wines. Mm-hmm. Less pretentious like the French that like to really age and be big, bold beasts.
Like that one?
Like that one.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, this is a good $20-ish wine. 2021. It's drinking really good right now. But yeah, when you're watching Indy in Venice and you're looking for a good Italian wine, I would recommend a Barbera d'Alba. You can get a pretty good deal on them still.
I thought he was in Florence.
It is delicious.
Is he in Venice?
He's in Venice. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the price point?
20-ish, yeah.
20-ish? What was the other one? I don't remember.
They're both around 20. I try to keep it around that price range, until we have to, pay our dues with these, wonderful tariffs.
It's patriotism.
Exactly.
I'm going to start making, toilet wine.
Yeah.
Sell that for $20 a bottle.
Yeah, I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to keep things around $20 usually for the podcasters. Because I know that if you're looking for a wine,
you think our listeners are poor?
It's not. I'm not talking necessarily.
But you think they're stupid?
Travis, Todd's poor.
That definitely, 3 kids.
Do you know what the budget is for this podcast?
we're on a shoestring. But I think
he has a family.
Exactly.
The end of his shoestring is called an aglet, a little plastic.
Huh.
And so I try to keep things kind of within a reasonable budget for people. If you're watching a movie, you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of money. You're just looking for something fun to have. And so I try to keep it around.
What's the most you would reasonably spend on a bottle?
For
you personally, if you were going to buy a bottle to enjoy, special occasion, how much money are you spending?
Special occasion, at restaurants, which is a whole different ballgame.
No, not restaurants.
Okay, at home. It depends on the occasion. It depends on the level that we're talking about. We're talking about like an anniversary. Like, for example, my wife and I have our 10-year anniversary coming up. I would spend over $100 on that. I'd definitely go with triple digits.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
I wasn't invited at the wedding, so.
This was back in the day. It was an era. It was a different. It was a time period.
$100 is like your celebratory dollar point.
I could definitely go over. It depends on what we're buying, but I could. I could justify, spending that on a champagne, especially for a situation like that. If it's just, a date night or whatever, 30, 40, is easily doable.
Can I be honest? High-end champagne is like the last thing I would spend money on.
Yeah.
Personally. Me personally. I don't get the appeal of high-end champagne.
If you know what you're buying, I mean, for most like special occasions, you can find something cheaper that's not.
Yeah, I enjoy like a $20, like a cava.
Yeah,
You know?
like a Grey or whatever.
Yeah.
Can I jump in here and ask, because I don't know if we've ever discussed it, but when you're watching a movie at home, is there a particular snack you are snacking on? And if you're in theaters, like what is your go-to snack?
In theaters, I'm a popcorn guy.
I'm a popcorn guy.
Big movie theater popcorn guy. At home, I like ice cream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I recently discovered Nerds Gummy Clusters, and I had heard the hype about them. I don't know if you've heard any hype. Lives up to it. They are so good.
Really?
In the theater or at home?
At home.
Oh.
They might offer them in theaters. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I don't know. Theater-wise, I'm not I don't do soda, and like water is way overpriced at theaters. Like honestly, you should be able to bring your own water bottle.
Yeah.
What's that?
Sneak it in, yeah.
You've seen the size of my water bottle. It's huge. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sneaking this into a movie theater.
Yeah.
You know,
I know you don't do small. You do everything big.
I gotta go big.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, popcorn's my go-to.
And is your ice cream, is it in a tub or are you in like Ben & Jerry's?
Little baseball helmet.
I do enjoy Ben & Jerry's tonight dough.
Ooh.
But I also like a good M&M ice cream sandwich.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the Snickers ice cream bar?
Yeah, that's good too.
That's real good.
Oh, yeah.
Twix makes a really good ice cream
They
bar.
do.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have not.
You can get those at QT.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That quick trip for those of you.
the old
around
Quick
the
Trip.
world. Yeah.
I don't eat anything during a movie, that especially in theaters, just because I know I'll have to pee, and I've got the reverb
Popcorn absorbs the moisture
from '89 Batman, where my dad yelled at me. He was like, "You remember we missed this scene in theaters because you had to go to the bathroom.
You're gonna miss it. He's gonna have a credit card. Just you wait.
Yeah. So basically, your dad was like that guy in Arrested Development. Like, that's why you always leave a note.
No, but I do remember every time I watched the VHS, I was like, "Oh yeah, we were going to the bathroom during this part," and I was so upset.
I peed through this part.
I was so upset that I had to go to the bathroom during it, though, too.
Oh, kids' bladders stand no chance for.
Yeah.
In this economy, movies are like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But I used to do like junior mints because also it's a 2-for-1. One, it's delicious. 2, if you're on a date.
Fresh breath.
If you're on a date, little fresh breath.
No,
Covers up all manner of odors.
it really doesn't.
Oh.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I apologize for my kissing breath.
Well, it tasted bad.
Yeah.
So
You apologize for your Kissinger.
I apologize.
So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This was released May 24th, 1989. This grossed $475 million against a $50 million budget. This had by far the biggest
that is
budget
a hefty return
for that. Yeah, it's a huge return. It's a big budget all around.
Did it cap out 1989? Number one.
It was the highest grossing movie worldwide in 1989.
And Alison Doody played Elsa Schneider.
She did.
Doody.
So it was the highest grossing
The
movie.
Nazi?
Mm-hmm. It was the highest grossing movie worldwide in 1989, but it was not the highest grossing movie domestically in 1989. What was the highest grossing movie domestically?
She was also the aunt of Imogen
Top Gun?
Poots.
1989. What was the highest?
Don't say that like I just should know what year Top Gun comes out. I'm just guessing, man.
1989. What was the top grossing
Oh,
movie?
Batman.
There you go.
But did anybody hear me when I said that Alison Doody was the aunt of Imogen
Poots.
Poots? Okay, thank you.
No, we heard you.
Just acknowledge it. Just giggle.
Just laugh and we'll move on.
I'm the king of the castle. You're the dirty rascal.
That's why you put your stuff back in the fridge.
That's why you leave a note.
So all the major principals here returned: Spielberg, Lucas, Harrison Ford,
Doody.
Sean
Madam Duty.
Sean Connery returns or joins the cast as Henry Jones Sr. River Phoenix plays young Indy in the film's prologue. And Alison Doody plays love interest Elsa Schneider. There you go.
The Nazi?
Oh.
Ronald Reagan.
It's like
the actor?
How'd you know she was a Nazi? She talks in her sleep. Spielberg passed on.
Such a good line.
It is. There's lots of good Connery lines in there. Spielberg passed on other projects to do this film as he was obligated pretty much by a handshake deal with George Lucas. He passed on Rain Man and Big to direct this film.
Did those movies do well?
Yeah, both movies are pretty successful, yeah. Oscar winning. This film's more humorous tone is a response to the backlash of Temple of Doom, which critics and studio executives felt was too dark. Mirroring Raiders of the Lost Ark, this film has Indy chasing the Holy Grail, the chalice that was used by Christ at the Last Supper and was also used to catch his blood at the crucifixion. A drink from the cup will grant eternal life, and so Hitler wants to claim the Grail for himself and gain access to its power. So we'll do the same questions as before. So Sean, when did you see this first? What did you think of it then? What do you think of it now?
I would have had to have been maybe in the 8 or 9, 10 range.
Yeah.
When I first saw it. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was big on James Bond movies. I was watching for my namesake, Sean Connery. I was doing a big 007. Like I always went to Southwest Video, went and got all the James Bond movies.
Shout out
to Southwest Video. You don't exist anymore.
R.I.P.
VHS don't exist anymore.
I keep thinking you have a super sweet stogie in your hand. I'm sorry.
It'd be awesome.
It'd be sick.
Just taking big pulls.
Cigar.
We need to do that sometime.
Do we?
No.
So I think it was a natural transition. I started watching just anything Sean Connery was in. Right. So Last Crusade. And you don't have to watch these 3 movies in order because they are not in any sequential order. There's no like natural arc to them.
No.
So I think probably as a kid for the longest time, I had no idea what order they were supposed to be watched in.
Yeah.
I just watched The Last Crusade and I thought it was fun. I thought it was great. It doesn't have as many like kid appeals as Temple of Doom. I feel like Temple of Doom has more childlike appeal.
Yeah.
Raiders definitely has more childlike appeal.
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed it. It's a fun action movie. I mean, it's, there's a lot of action beats, like you said. It just kind of has a lot of good momentum. It keeps moving.
Yeah.
As an adult, I really appreciated this one the most. I think this one is the strongest of the 3. Sean Connery's role is great because you kind of get some dents in the armor of the Mary Sue character of Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is very much like he's handsome, he's smart, everybody wants him, everybody wants to be him.
He's George Lucas's Mary Sue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And with this, you kind of get okay, you see where he's coming from, you see his origins, and you kind of see like his flaws. You see some of his flaws.
Did I tell you to wash up, to brush behind your ears? I taught you self-reliance.
Yeah, I pushed you out of the nest. I was a great dad.
Yeah.
Pusher.
Pusher.
Push it real good.
What was that?
Yeah.
Push it real good.
Yeah.
Push it real good.
For those of you on YouTube, I'd advise turn on your subtitles right about now.
I think that this is the strongest movie. And I do think that Spielberg and George Lucas felt obliged to go back to the Nazi trope.
Yeah.
Because they were like, okay, if we're playing in this era, we got to keep playing in this era.
Well, it's like James Bond, his natural opponent is the commies and then also Spectre.
Yeah.
That's he's Blofeld is his natural opponent, also via proxy or whatever, like the commies or the Soviets. It makes sense. Like that's his natural opponent. Yeah. Indiana Jones being who he is in this time period, his natural opponent is
going to be the Nazis. Yeah.
Look, and also every time you show a Nazi getting punched out on screen, everybody you hear a ding of Mario or Sonic coins go cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I see points and dollar signs in my eyes. An angel
gets its wings.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's that excellent picture of somebody that has stopped that's Indiana pushing the Nazi onto the top of the tank and just about ready to pop him one, and I'm like, it belongs in a museum.
It belongs in a museum. I think it's fun. I think you get a lot of good beats. You get a lot of good momentum.
Would you real quick put that in your mouth and talk about the next part of it?
No.
Because it's very Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator.
Let me see.
I'm sorry.
I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, he lost his cool points there when he dropped them on the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say something.
I'm sorry.
I lost it.
Back to the chopper.
No, I think, like you said in the last podcast, you talked about how this was Steven Spielberg and George Lucas's response. It was their James Bond.
Yeah.
Right. And you kind of felt that with like the boat race or the boat chase scene. That feels like a very Bond thing to be in Italy and be chased in a boat.
Yeah.
And then like have a propeller, like chopping away at the boat as you're trying to interrogate this guy. And he's like, I'm prepared to die. Are you Indiana Jones?
Yeah. I mean, the tank chase, all of it feels
Tank chase feels very Bond-like.
Yeah.
The comedic element of when everyone's looking over the cliff and they're all sad that he died and he
pops up,
comes up behind them. It feels very Looney Tunesy.
And then the wind blows his hat conveniently up on the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that because they both drank from the chalice that they are both immortal?
Well, they imply with the night of whatever Arimathea that like it gives you extraordinarily long life. It's I think eternal life would be hyperbole. So I think it's like exceptionally long life.
Sure. Okay, but they are exceptionally long lived because tell you what, in the fifth movie that doesn't exist, he looks rough.
Yeah, he aged for sure. So, yeah, you would think like with that cup should have given him like right now, he should look like Harrison Ford right now, you know, giving him like exceptionally long life.
It'd be great if they replaced him with the guy who played Han Solo in the Solo movie.
Or did he get punished for trying to take the Grail out or trying to grab the Grail?
He didn't. The Nazi did.
Yeah.
Miss Booty.
Yeah.
Madam Booty.
Miss Duty Booty.
Duty Booty.
In Latin, Jehovah begins with an I.
Man, and it's a shame Taylor Owens is not here because he and I have quoted almost every line of this movie to each other, every bit of it over the years.
Do you have a favorite?
Man, I don't know.
Did you remember your Charlemagne?
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne. Let my armies be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky. What a great Sean. And that's up there with the movie Rising Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes, where it's like they had to know they were writing something for Sean Connery. Where it's like,
I've never seen that.
Rising Sun, where he's the older cop and Wesley Snipes is his new partner or whatever, and they're in Japan investigating a murder. And it's like, we're going to beat the grass to startle the snakes.
Do you know the not Sean Connery line, but what's the line about like? Good luck finding him. He knows every local custom.
Yeah, he's like he has friends from here to the Sudan. He'll blend in. He'll disappear.
Speaks every language.
Never find him.
You'll never find him.
With any luck, he's got the Grail already.
Immediately cuts to him.
Coat?
Yeah, it's like
immediately cuts to him. Just like, do you speak English? No, that's all right. All right.
Pip pip Jodio.
But the thing I love about the little throwaway moment there, where somebody offers him something, and like one of the street vendors, he's like, "No, fish make love in it." I don't know what it was.
Yeah. It's water.
Yeah.
Someone offers him water. He's like, no, fish make love in it.
Just beautiful.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
All in all, I think kid me would probably give this like a 7, maybe a 6. You know, it doesn't have as much appeal for a kid. Now, I think this is like an 8. I think this is an 8 movie. I think this is the strongest one in the trilogy.
Yeah.
And therefore the entirety of the Indiana Jones franchise, which is a trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it has the most structure. I think it has the most depth of the character. You get to see him as a kid. You get to see him as an adult. You still get a lot of the same like Spielberg being in love with Hollywood elements, but it's a little more toned down.
Yeah.
And of course, all these movies have Wilhelm screams just like littered throughout.
Everyone. Yeah.
Littered.
Every movie we've done so far has a
Wilhelm scream. Yeah.
I can't speak to the upcoming Nolan trilogy, but
I hope Batman has a Wilhelm scream.
There's got to be one in there.
There's got to be.
Like you said, every podcast somebody's first. The Wilhelm scream, for those of you out here, you can Google it, but the Wilhelm scream dates back to a movie from the early 1950s where I believe it is like a Western where a cowboy, I think he gets shot in the belly with a bow and arrow, and he screams a very like blood-curdling scream. And so when it came time for Star Wars, the sound designer, Ben Burt, was looking through the archives. He needed a stormtrooper falling into the pit after getting shot. He dredged up this old sound of this guy getting shot in his movie and used it for that scene. And then he used it for Empire Strikes Back. He used it for Raiders. He used it for Return of the Jedi. He used it in all of Spielberg and Lucas's movies. And so it started showing up everywhere. It's in Toy Story. It's in Lord of the Rings. you can look at it. It's in tons.
It's in everything.
And now it's like kind of a fourth wall.
No, yeah,
like
now
a
it's a
wink
bit.
to the audience.
It's a bit.
And a wink to mostly directors and other, cinephiles. Adjust your monocle, twist and twirl your mustache.
But it is in this movie whenever the whatever the knights, the brothers of the cruciform sword or whatever, they ambush the tank caravan. And one of the Nazis throws a grenade at the brothers, the knights of the cruciform, whatever they are. One of them gets blown up.
Real inconsequential group, by the way.
Yeah,
they do fuck all to stop the Nazis.
Yeah, yeah. But cool action beat though.
Yeah, cool action beat.
Yeah,
gives him an excuse to steal some camels and horses.
Yeah. Trav.
Yeah, I love this movie. I especially love the River Phoenix intro. Like the Indiana Begins. It shows
the roots.
Where he gets like scared of snakes and where he gets his hat.
The whip.
And I love the transition at the end of that where he's still, what is it, Belloc or whatever. Like it belongs in a museum. Like he's still after the same trinket or whatever. It instills that into. And then I love how they also show, but don't show Sean Connery in that little quick thing where he's running inside and is trying to
had to have been a cool reveal in the 80s.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, fuck, that's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
But they just don't show him at all. He's off in the background or whatever.
Sketching.
I love that.
Drawings.
And I love that we get, John Rhys Davies comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Does a little. Is there another snake gag later on in this besides the River Phoenix one? I can't remember.
No, they do. They like you said, they rhyme with it whenever Indy's dad's afraid of rats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I also I love.
Yeah.
I hate rats.
Yeah, like you said, they show his home life. They show what he's really like. We named the dog Indiana, like telling all the secrets he doesn't want people to know. Mm-hmm. So you get to see the intro, the Indiana Begins, and then you also see where he may end up because you see his father that's gone all down this rabbit hole and is like this sage guy. But Sean Connery is clearly the best B character in the entire series.
Yeah. Easily.
Because you've got, Short Round, which is the self-insert for the kids. It's, hey, it's Robin. You get to hang out with Batman.
Yeah.
Or you've got... in the first one, you've got the love interest, and they're together trying to battle the Nazis, or he's trying to save her. But the third one is just the best, like weird buddy cop movie.
He meets Hitler though.
Yeah,
gets his autograph.
Yeah,
yeah,
which is an awesome throwaway scene.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah,
so close.
Yeah. And I love, again, Spielberg's a movie nerd, so he is paying reference to Leni Riefenstahl, who was Hitler's documentarian, and she did Triumph of the Will, which was like, again, it was like this glorious, like glorifying Hitler type situation, like what you see here. And I believe he shows in this scene a female filmmaker who's supposed to be Leni Riefenstahl filming that sequence, but it was like, she came up with all these pioneering techniques. She did the movie Olympia, which the 36 Olympics, she did all, like, she invented the idea of like runners with the camera like next to them,
a tracking shot.
Yeah, she came up with all these pioneering things, and ultimately it was a huge controversy later when they gave her like an honorary Oscar, even though she was known as Hitler's documentarian.
Okay, yeah, she was a Nazi.
Yeah, she was a Nazi.
That's a valid criticism.
And she lived to be like 103. And so, it was the big thing of like, she did a lot to further filmmaking, but she did it working for Hitler, But they
did a lot to further rocket making.
Yes. But if you look during the sequence when they're in Berlin, you'll see a woman like directing like a film sequence, and it's supposed to be Leni Riefenstahl. And so basically it implies that this is supposed to be like a Triumph of the Will type, big Nuremberg rally that Indy and his dad stumble into. So,
and obviously the Indiana Jones, I love like the little bit of fantastical elements that only come in at the end in the third act.
Yeah.
that the first movie you had, the Ark of the Covenant, they actually blow it off. It melts the dude's face. All the little wispy, all of the wispy.
Who knows what that camera angle is going to be?
All of the wispy ghosts show up, and then you have the sequel or the Temple of Doom, where the heart gets ripped out and all the crazy diamonds are glowing, and then this one you have like an aged knight, and they're looking for the cup of a carpenter, and it's just washing away wounds and all this. Like, I love the dungeon delving stuff.
Yeah,
where they're doing deep dives.
Well, it's like
so. This one's great. I would also go along with Sean. This is a solid 8. I think for me, Raiders is better because I've seen that one when I'm getting drunk, drinking beer. I need to get drunk and watch Last Crusade.
Yeah, amen. But yeah, one thing I noticed, for example, going back to Temple of Doom, is whenever they're on the after the bridge scene, when they're hanging off of the cliff or whatever, and Molaram is trying to grab the stones, and Indy invokes the name of Shiva, who's like the supreme like Hindu god, and he starts like basically saying like this incantation for Shiva, and it causes the stones to burst into flames.
Yeah.
And so when Molaram tries to grab the stones for himself, even though he says like drop them, I'll find them, he wants to grab them immediately because he wants the power. It burns him and causes him to fall to his death. That's another example like that sort of fantastical like
hubris.
Yeah, Indy knows like he can like you say this incantation, the stones will like glow and burst into flames.
Yeah.
He makes an educated guess.
Yeah.
I also like that Indiana Jones doesn't like try to yada away mysticism.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of embraces it, and it like obviously with the Temple of Doom, there's the whole reaching into a guy's chest.
Yeah.
You see it with the Ark of the Covenant. You see it melting people's faces with
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
He knows in Raiders like don't look at it. No,
He embraces
don't make
it.
eye contact.
He embraces the idea of mysticism, and he doesn't like just sort of like he doesn't have the scholarly approach to it where he's like, well, actually, this should do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's fun. I think there's a fun fictional element to it that you don't see in other stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's nice low fantasy.
Yeah.
They
low stakes fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't, they're not time traveling and shooting at Roman gladiators or whatever with,
Yeah, they would never do that.
They would never do
Joe's
that.
movie.
Shit.
No.
Now show the Holy
They
Grail.
would never
Yes.
like go on vines with monkeys.
Yeah, or have like groundhogs featured prominently in the opening action scenes of the
Never.
movie.
Never. They would never do that.
So for me, this
Shia
is
LaBeouf.
yeah, or feature Shia LaBeouf at all. That's
Hey, you take that back.
you've jumped the shark when you got
Take that back about Shia LaBeouf.
Beans from Evenstein's.
He's not Beans.
Is he not Beans?
No, Beans is another character.
Okay.
He was excellent in Holes.
Yeah, he was great in Holes.
Yeah.
You know they're doing a
All gender bent.
gender bent recast. Yeah,
I mean,
Another band
I
name.
think it's
gender bent recast.
I think it's a perfect film. I don't
Yeah.
really think you need to change it.
I mean, I don't care.
So
Holes, but
Just Holes.
just Holes.
So to me, this is like classic Indy. He's fighting Nazis. There's booby traps. There's
Booby
Traps.
chickpea on my face.
You son of a bit.
and for those of you at home, I'd really like to try to give Travis the giggles right now, but we'll move on.
Booby? Mm-hmm. Imogen Poots?
Yeah,
Imogen Poots.
Allison Duty.
Allison Duty?
But I love the aspects of like he has to make a leap of faith in the cave. He has to, in the Latin alphabet, Jehovah begins with an I. He has to use his smarts to get through it. Ford and Connery have like a great chemistry with each other. Connery was an awesome choice to play this part.
Great choice.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's like if you're a Bond fan, it puts a little bit of Bond into your Indiana Jones, which two great tastes.
When Connery went a little bit insane in the 90s, late 90s.
Yeah.
So I think this was kind of the peak time to kind of get him in.
Yeah, this Hunt for October, this is like...
Did
Hunt
he
for
go?
October.
I know A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was not an awesome film for him, and then he kind of retired after that. Was that his last film?
I think what
It was
kind
not
of...
his last film.
Was it not?
I think Finding Forrester was his...
Okay.
But I think the turning point for him was when he did Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen, but he turned down Gandalf.
Yeah, because he said it didn't make sense to him.
Yeah, but the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen did.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did Entrapment with Catherine Zeta.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Catherine Zeta booty in the air.
Yeah.
In the trailer. God, that's
The lasers? Whew.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater and say,
She dropped the maps into the mail.
say, why is my voice dropping down so deep?
what is, where all these pubes come from?
But yeah, the it has that kind of same like nitpick of other movies where it's like it's the third film in a trilogy, so it doesn't have the same like new car smell as Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, you know what? You are right. This is the third film is almost maybe the best film for Sean,
In my opinion.
or at least the second best film. If it goes what's your hierarchy? Does it goes Raiders, Crusade, Temple, or is it Crusade, Raiders, Temple?
Or is it Temple, Raiders, Crusade?
It'd be Raiders, a little bit below Crusade, but not much. This is a 9.
So Crusade is
I'll put this
tippity top.
Yeah, Raiders to me is a perfect 10. Crusade is a 9.
Oh, you said different. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Crusade's a 9.
You said Raiders was a little bit below this one.
Temple is like an
okay.
11 for you? Or?
Other way around. Raiders is a 10. I put Crusade a little bit below it.
9.5, 9?
9.
9.
And then, Temple of Doom to me is quite a bit below.
Is Crusade below because it's kind of hitting the same notes as if kind of like Star Wars episode, what are we, 4, 5, 6, 7? A New Hope was kind of a rehash.
It rhymes a lot.
Sorry, there's A New Hope. What was the new?
Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Force Awakens was kind of a rehash of A New Hope.
In the same way that Return of the Jedi had a lot of rehashes of A New Hope. It's like it dips back into the same well.
Yes.
But not
Raiders being original gets the bump.
just for that reason alone. Yeah. But for nostalgia purposes, it's hard to argue with Last Crusade. Again, if Taylor were here, he would agree with me. He'd be raving about this movie. I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I think this one's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun than Raiders.
Yeah. So this is my emotional, in terms of just emotional attachment, this is my favorite indie movie. In terms of like looking at it from like a movie nerd perspective, like from a film critic perspective, Raiders is the best. And then Temple of Doom to me has a lot of fall off. It especially suffered going back and watching it again.
Yeah.
It's compared to the Raiders and Last Crusade, it's the weakest of the three. So, in my opinion. But next time we're going to do Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. So you should be curious. I haven't seen Dark Knight or Batman Begins in a lot of years.
It's been a minute.
Dark Knight, again, like Raiders, perfect movie if you're a little bit drunk.
Yeah.
Drink 6 beers, watch Dark Knight, change your life.
That's true of a lot of movies.
A lot of perfect movies when you're a little bit buzzed.
But have you ever seen Cinema Woman on weed?
Platoon was great when I was wasted. So,
Okay, Platoon was good when I was sober.
yeah, it was.
Take you a 3-beer shower and sit down and watch Dark Knight.
Yeah.
How am I going to watch a movie in the shower?
How long does it take you to drink 3 beers? Just for the viewers at home.
I mean, I guess not
What kind of beers?
long.
What kind of beers?
Actually,
what are you drinking at home?
yeah.
Modelo?
How
You drinking
long is
Modelo?
that
Yeah, I like Modelo's. But yeah, we've had whenever I would be sitting over at Todd's back when he was a bachelor.
10 years ago, we established
Yeah, is that Todd would be like, yeah, I'm going to do one more drink, and I would know that's about 30 minutes, and then he would be like, some other nights he would be tired. He's like, Travis, I think I'm going to go to sleep. I was like, dude, I'm going to do one more beer, and that's like 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Or the first beer is always the fastest, though.
Yeah.
The first cut is the deepest.
Well, it's like, how for me, a beer is playback at normal speed. A Travis beer is like where you get it up to 1.5, maybe 1.75.
The first one just tastes so good, and half of it's gone like that.
Yeah.
And then,
It depends on if you're in the pool. Mm-hmm. If you're in the pool, then a beer goes real fast.
Yeah.
But you hop in the shower, you take your razor in there with you, get it right, get it tight.
You take a razor and 3 beers? Okay.
Yeah. Well, your face razor. But you get the back of the neck. You get
shave the back of your neck in the shower.
You get a little undercarriage. You want to
shave your undercarriage?
I don't know if I'm going to get 3 beers in and shave my undercarriage. That seems like an extremely dangerous proposition.
Well,
That's how you come out of the shower missing an undercarriage.
You start on the first beer. You don't start shaving on beer 3.
Until you get some undercarriage damage.
God, you just take a nice hot shower and those 3 beers hit just nice. Then you sit down, get real comfy, get a snack, start watching Dark Knight.
Are you a lifestyle coach?
Yeah. In fact, that's what you guys are doing. We have to include a 3 beer shower before Dark Knight.
Just to recap for the people at home. So you're going to get the shower.
Yep.
You're going to drink 3 beers.
Well, shave your gooch first.
You're going to shave your gooch.
Three can beers.
You're gonna drink
the
3
gooch
beers.
shaving is parallel with the first beer.
Look, we're also going to share photos on Instagram of our smooth gooches. Smooth taints. Smooth Taint Pod.
Now that is a band name. Smooth Gooches.
Smooth Gooches.
And then
That is a jam band if I ever heard it.
once you emerge good and drunk with a smooth gooch, you're going to watch Dark Knight.
Look.
And then proceed to drink 3 more beers during Dark Knight.
Yes. This guy gets it.
Yeah, no, I know what I'm doing.
Anyway, you don't have to shave while you're in there, but you can't get out of the shower until you finish 3 beers.
So you take 3 beers with you into the shower.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't understand why this concept is so hard.
Do you preheat the shower while you're drinking the first beer? Oh, you just jump in cold.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, you
That
run
would
it and
make
you get
shaving
it
your
to
gooch a lot harder.
and you get it to
Cold
your
shower.
desired temperature. But you take 3 beers, again, not bottled, no glass. Same rules as the pool.
Obviously.
No glass around the
no
pool.
glass, yeah.
You take 3 canned beers.
Yeah.
You put them in your soap dish, and then every time you open one, like if you're close enough, depending on your shower, you can either put your spent soldiers back up there, or you can slide open the shower and then just throw them in the sink.
It's been another episode of Nino.
Anyway, we're going to do a 3 beer shower before we watch Dark Knight.
Yeah.
God, think of if we just did this at somebody's house, we all got in the shower, we took 9 beers in there.
Together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we all got in the shower together?
Actually, if Taylor would buy a fucking hot tub, we could just sit in the hot tub, drink 3 beers, then get out, watch a movie.
With Taylor, we just need a 12-pack.
Do you guys have a shower that we could all fit in?
I'm sure we'll make one.
Here, we'll get real friendly.
I don't think the 3 of us could fit in my shower.
I've got a backyard and a hose, so
Well,
I've got a Spider-Man splash pad.
3 beer hose bath.
Yeah. I've got a Spider-Man splash pad. We'll get back there and
slip and slide.
Sit on that Green Goblin.
Hell
We'll get you,
yeah.
Crocodile Mile.
Yeah. You get a 3 beer Green Goblin shower.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
So we thank you guys very much for joining us.
Mask calling to me. Drink my beers.
Tune in next time. Next week we will be off for the week, but then we're coming back with the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy. And join us then, won't you? Great beers, only drunker. We got Sean Jordan, Travis Budd,
Adios.
Your boy.
and I'm Todd.